Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about all of the brand new affordable makeup releases in the UK. Will they be good? Will they be bad? Time will tell. I have tested all of these products out within an inch of their lives. So I've already done a video which was an incredibly positive video with all of the best brand new affordable makeup releases. This video is going to have a few more negatives in because all of these products didn't quite make it into the best of the best video. So, you know, there are going to be some cons that I'm going to be talking about, but definitely worthwhile sticking around to the end because some of my negatives may be your positives. There is definitely a way to swing it either way. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not going to be for you. So we've got products from Maybelline, No. 7 Pro Artist, L'Oreal, Rimmel, Morphe, Physicians Formula, and NYX. Let's get on with it. I bought all of these products with my own money. They did not come in PR, not that that would make a difference on how I would speak about them, but I thought I would let you all know. We're gonna jump into the Maybelline Teddy Tints first. So these are the Maybelline Superstay Teddy Tints. It's quite a nice, creamy, soft formula, very lightweight, feels quite hydrating on the lips on first application, feels quite creamy to the touch. When you smack your lips together, it feels like a creamy, nourishing lipstick. That's what it feels like, and I definitely like that. The positives also, it comes in lots of different shades. I've got 3 of those shades. It's a really long-lasting formula, so also a massive benefit, and these are really easy to apply. They come with a really nice applicator that is quite precise. You don't get too much product on the applicator at once, which I think is really nice because you're not having to take any of the excess off on the top of the tube so it doesn't get all messy, and I really like the packaging. Negatives here, and there are several. So once this starts to dry down, this feels a little sticky on the lips to the point where if you do smack your lips together when you're talking, your lips do stick together. Now this doesn't happen as much if you only add one layer. So if you want this to look quite sheer on the lips, I got a lot more success out of applying it that way than when I built it up to be more opaque. When I built it up to be more opaque, as it was trying to dry down, it became incredibly sticky, and throughout the day, that stickiness did not disappear. In fact, as my lips stuck together, part of the formula lifted and my lips started to look rather patchy as the day went on. I have had some success out of this. It is a nice product if you can cope with the stickiness. This is not going to be something that I'm going to be reaching for on a daily basis. I did find that throughout the day, my lips got drier and drier and drier, which often happens with a tint for me, but I was hoping for better things with this, and unfortunately I didn't get it. I have been a huge fan of the No. 7 Pro Artist range. There's only been a couple of products that I've not been keen on. This, unfortunately, is adding to that very short list. This is the No. 7 Pro Artist That's a Wrap Tubing Mascara. Now let's go through the positives first. Because this is a tubing mascara, it doesn't smudge on me. So it doesn't bleed, it doesn't smudge. I don't get those little black polka dots on the tops of my eyelids, but also underneath either. If I rub my eyes, it doesn't go all over the place. Not that I tend to rub my eyes vigorously when I have a mascara on anyway, but it's really successful in the whole tubing element of not bleeding, not smudging. It's also really easy to take off at the end of the day. You just need to massage it with a little bit of lukewarm water and then pull the tubes off the lashes, and they remove very easily. No tugging, no harshness, no loss of eyelashes. I also really love the applicator. The stem of the wand is actually quite long, so where you hold the applicator is actually quite far away from the wand itself. And that might sound like a ridiculous thing to mention, but it does make a big difference. I don't like resting my hand or my arm on my cheekbone because it lifts the rest of my makeup when I'm trying to apply my mascara, and because the length of this one, which has been incredibly well thought out, that doesn't happen. I also love the shape of the wand as well. It's really small, it's really precise, and it coats every individual lash. So if you want your lashes to look more fluttery, you will get that with this formula. Every single lash is completely separated, so although this doesn't add volume in my opinion, it does look like you have more lashes than you actually have. The negatives though, like I've just said, I don't find that this is a volumizing formula. Very few tubing mascaras are ultra volumizing, but I also find that this is really slow to apply. Because this is such a wet formula, if you go in too heavy to begin with, your lashes can clump together. But the major negative for me, and the reason why I won't be using this on a daily basis, is that this doesn't hold a curl. In fact, quite the opposite. It's such a wet formula and it takes such a long time to dry down. That wetness is quite heavy. So you can physically see the lashes drooping as the mascara is drying. And because it doesn't dry very quickly, it doesn't grab that curl and make your curls stand to attention. It's such a shame because I usually love a tubing mascara, even if it's not a volumizing tubing mascara. Usually they're great at holding a curl, but this one, with it being so wet and so heavy, just wasn't very good at that, which was a massive disappointment. Next up from L'Oreal, we've got the Khol Natural by Paradise. This is in the shade 102 Pure Espresso. I absolutely love this. I think it is superb. It's really creamy, it's really soft. The shade of it is absolutely magnificent. You have a lot of playtime with this. On first application, you can apply it to your eyelid, to underneath your eyes, wherever you want to apply this. You can even apply it all over the eyelid if you want a lot of depth and definition before you apply the rest of your eyeshadows. This smudges out beautifully. So anything, if you're wanting a really smoky effect, you'll get that depth, but you'll also get a really smoky edge. I love it. I think it is beautiful and it gives you that lovely smokiness to any eye look. It's just a lovely consistency and very, very easy to use. Because it's so creamy and soft, it also doesn't drag the eyelids. So if you really struggle to apply a Khol pencil onto your eyelids, if you have any crinkles or you have any crepiness, try this one out because it's so easy to just dab on the eyelid rather than dragging, and you won't get any pulling or dragging effect at all. It's that super smooth and really, really creamy and soft. The negative for me though, because it's so creamy and soft and because it's so easy to blend out and smudge, it's not budge proof. So I always find it better to actually smudge this out, because once it's smudged out, it does become pretty much budge resistant. But if you don't like to smudge it out and have that smoky effect, you are going to get that smudging throughout the day. So if you have quite watery eyes and you add this to the outer corner of your eye, it's probably not going to be there at the end of the day. If you love a smudgy, messy, smoky look, this is the pencil that I would definitely recommend to you. If that is not your thing, I probably wouldn't. Next up, we've got the Maybelline Super Fluff Brow Mousse. Now, I'm not the best person to talk about a brow mousse because it's never been my favorite way of doing my brows. I love a brow gel, but brow mousses really aren't my thing. But I can tell you that this comes in several different shades. It's really, really quick to apply. It's quite nice and creamy. It's definitely a moussey consistency, which is great for anybody with sparse brows that's wanting to really volumize the brow hairs that they have. You can also apply this to the background of your brows, so this will fill in your brows as well extremely quickly. If you are on the go, if you are really late to an event, this is great for those of you with a steady hand. This also has semi-decent hold as well, so great for those of you that are wanting a little bit of hold and much more fullness. For me though, it's a little bit messy. I don't have the steadiest hand in the world, and I do find the applicator a little bit too generic, not as precise as I would personally like it, although it's really small and it should be very, very easy to use. But I think because of what I'm used to a brow pen and a brow gel, this was just a little bit too messy, went darker in places, lighter in places, a little bit speckledy, a little bit smudgy, so not my usual precise, quite polished brow look. This was a little bit more patchy on my application. Maybe that's just because I'm not really skilled in the application of brow mousses and brow gels. I don't know, but it wasn't my personal favorite. Next up, we've got the Physicians Formula Butter Tinted Lip Conditioner. Now, this is a love-hate. This brings back memories I do not want to bring back. But I'm going to tell you all about it, so, you know, strap yourself in. This is going to be a considerable ride. So this is a beautiful formula. First and foremost, it's really nourishing, it's really hydrating, it feels really expensive on the lips, and it's not. It's Physicians Formula. It also comes in a couple of shades as well, not a massive shade variety, but I think this one is absolutely beautiful. This is in the shade Pink Paradise, and it is lush. Not only does this feel really nourishing and moisturizing on the lips, it's also a non-sticky formula, which I love. And although this looks like it comes in a squeezy tube, it doesn't. It comes with an applicator, which I think is really ingenious, and it means that you don't have to get your fingers dirty every time you want to apply a little bit of nourishing gloss. Okay, so that's where the positives end, and there are a lot of positives to this. The only negative, and there is only one negative for me, this has a scent and a flavour that is overwhelming. And like I said earlier, brings back memories that I would prefer not to remember. So, I can't remember when it was. Was it 1996? I think it might have been 1996, the year that I left school. I went to Ibiza with my auntie and my cousin, and it was a fantastic holiday. We experienced freedom that we had not had before, but that freedom came at a cost. We drank a lot. Malibu and pineapple is a drink that I can no longer stomach. I can't even smell pineapple juice anymore without holding it back. It was an adventure, let's just say that. Also, on the evening of quite a lot of regurgitation of said Malibu and pineapple, I had to hold my cousin's hair back. I didn't realise she drank that much, and it just, the smell, I can't cope with this. I can't cope with this. Maybe that was too much information for you. I'm sorry if I've turned your stomach. If you were eating something while I was trying to explain myself, I apologise. But you will understand the depths of my despair when I put this on my lips and went, oh! I just can't. I can't. If it didn't have that flavour and that scent, I would be wearing this every day of the week. I think it is a lovely, hydrating and nourishing formula, non-sticky, absolutely beautiful. Love this shade, but I just can't. Let's go into a bit of a disaster, actually. There are some major positives for this, as well as some major negatives. So, you know, take that as you will. This is from Rimmel, and it's the Lip Ink pen. I thought I was going to absolutely adore this. This sort of product is right up my street. It is a felt tip product. It just looks like a felt tip. It feels like a felt tip. It applies like a felt tip. The ink in here is very runny, like a felt tip. So yeah, I like everything about that in that sense. But also this comes in some great neutral nudie shades, which which is also something that I absolutely adore. I picked up 2 shades of this, one 200 Pink Candy and two 210 Crush Canvas. This has great longevity. So this can be applied as just a liner. It can be applied all over the lips if you want to stain the lips in that way. I like to use it as a liner. I do find it quite cooling on my lips on first application because of that liquid consistency. I think it's really pleasant to apply, but the tip of these pencils, you can see here, these are brand new. I've used these probably 3 times. You can see the ink is no longer in the tip of the pencil, and that is the issue. So depending on how you apply this, and I like to apply it on the edge and really get to that tip on the outer corner, you get a lot less pigment coming from the tip than you get from the side. So it tends to look quite patchy and it dries down so quickly that it's very hard to rectify if you do get more pigment in one area than in the other. It's just one of those products that is a little bit temperamental, and that patchiness on the lip, because it dries down so quickly and because it doesn't budge once it's dried down, it's very difficult to get rid of. So if you do get patchiness on your lips, whether that be the outline or whether that be all over the lips, it's there to stay. So this is also quite a drying formula for me on the day that I applied it all over my lips. If you do have any dryness on your lips whatsoever, if your lips aren't 100% hydrated, this is going to show any dryness. And if you don't have dryness there, this does bring out dryness throughout the day. On day 2, my lips were quite sore. So yeah, not a hydrating formula, and although they felt pleasant to begin with, by the end of the day I just could not wait to get this off my lips. Let's move on to NYX. This is the NYX The Face Glue Gripping Primer. I did not think I was going to like this at all. It's very gimmicky packaging, isn't it? I looked at it and went, ugh, here we go again. It's not really my usual elegant and classy. It doesn't make me want to use this. It doesn't get me excited, but actually when I tried it, I really liked it. So it's not as sticky as the e.l.f. gripping primer. If you're expecting that, you're going to be disappointed. It is slightly grippy though. It does grab on to your foundation. I actually put this on one half of my face and had bare skin on the other half of my face, and it did make a difference to how my foundation applied and looked. This also doesn't smell like glue, so that's a massive bonus for me, because had it smelled like glue, it would have been the biggest turn off. I don't think it has a scent, and if it does, it's very subtle, so it's not something that is going to overwhelm you and just overpower everything. I just really liked it. I liked the application process. It was very easy to smooth out. I also liked the smoothing aspect on the skin. So let's talk about the negatives. Firstly, the packaging. It's gimmicky packaging. It's not for me. That's totally fine. It's not my thing. It may be somebody else's, and I do think it's quite clever. The ingredients, though, are interesting. So this seems to have maple syrup in here. I'm not quite sure why, I don't understand. But unfortunately, the cooling effect, the really comfortable feeling didn't last all day. This started to feel a lot heavier throughout the day, and I didn't really like that feeling. Also, as a primer, I don't feel like this adds longevity to my makeup, which is generally what I use a primer for. Yes, it felt quite smoothing. It airbrushed a few of my pores, not significantly, but there was a little bit of benefit there. But yeah, the longevity wasn't there. And on the side of my face where I had the NYX, the Face Glue Gripping Primer, it didn't look as good as the side of my face where I didn't have any primer on whatsoever. So for me, it defeats the object of a primer. I wasn't 100% wowed by this, although I enjoyed it on first application. Moving on to the NYX The Face Glue Setting Spray. I really liked this straight away. So, you know, the packaging, again, it's not for me, but it's not the end of the world. This has such a beautiful fine mist, which once again is very cooling and very calming. amazing. The mist is beautiful. It's a very expensive type of mist. You wouldn't expect this from a really affordable product, so I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was lovely. This also felt beautiful on my skin, and although it was slightly sticky to begin with, that stickiness disappeared very, very quickly. This adds a dewiness to your skin, that really lit from within look, which also I really, really liked. And once again, it doesn't smell of glue, which can be commended. So negatives, although this made my makeup wear beautifully for around about 3 or 4 hours, I felt like the side that I had the setting spray on wore better than the side that didn't have the setting spray on for that length of time. After that, this started to look a little greasy and a little bit oily, and after around about 5 hours, the side that didn't have the setting spray on looked considerably better, in my opinion, than the side that did have setting spray on, which was a real disappointment. Another negative for me, and it's also a positive depending on how you look at it, I've already mentioned that this gives a lovely, dewy, lit from within look to the skin, but often I don't want a setting spray that's going to change the overall look of my makeup. If my makeup I feel is perfect to begin with, I don't really want to add a load of shine onto the surface. With a setting spray, I want it to look the same as it did when I thought it was really, really nice. So that can be a negative, that dewiness to some people. Definitely for me, especially with my oily T-zone, I often don't want a lot of dewiness on my skin, only in certain areas anyway. So take that as you will. You know yourself what you want out of a setting spray. But in all honesty, I don't think this added to the longevity of my makeup either. Very much like the gripping primer, this was perfectly nice, but didn't do the job that I thought it was going to do. And finally, this next product so nearly squeezed in to my best new affordable makeup video. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, I will link it at the end of this video so you can watch it straight after this one. But this is the Morphe Mixed Signals. It is a dual-ended product. So on one end, you have a cream stick eyeshadow, and on the other end, you have a liquid glitter topper, which you can also use as a one and done shadow if you so wish, but I like to apply this slightly, very, very sparingly over the top of the cream stick. It is so easy and so quick to apply, and this does not budge once it's dried down. It's very easy to blend out, very, very simple, beginner friendly. I just love it. It is superb quality, and I cannot believe I've managed to pick this up for the price that it actually is, because it feels way more expensive than the price. This comes in so many amazing shades. If you are going out for a night out, or you just love a bit of glitter anyway, these are going to be your new best friend. They are super beautiful, seriously nice. So the shades that I've gone for are BFF FWB. I think that's the shade name anyway. I can't see any other shade name on here, so I think that's what it is. I like to apply the cream shadow all over my lid first and then blend that out. You can blend it out with your finger or with a brush. It's really creamy, it's really smooth, and it adheres to the lid, so you don't need to worry if you have crinkly eyelids, any crepiness. This is going to be beautiful, no dragging necessary, and it feels really cooling when it first goes on the lid. Then I like to apply the sparkle, and instead of applying this straight to the eyelid, this does dry down really quickly, so I prefer to apply it to the back of my hand and then use my finger to very sparingly pat on the shade where I want it, because this is super, super sparkly. It can be built up, but be warned, a negative. If you build it up too much, this looks a little chunky, and with that chunkiness, it takes away a little bit of that elegance and sophistication, in my opinion. Because this dries down so quickly, it doesn't settle in any of my fine lines on my eyelids, so it doesn't travel any. As soon as it's dried down, it does not move throughout the day, but that is also a negative because you do have to move quite quickly with this in order to get it really smooth on the eyelids so that it's not patchy at all, and that might be a massive negative to some of you, not so much for me. So that is it. So many new releases, such a short time. I am going to be doing a Don't Waste Your Money video, like I said earlier. I'm also going to be doing a faves and fails at the end of this month. That video is already stacking up, and there are lots of fails in that, as well as lots of favorites that I've been trying off camera. So definitely check that out. Please make sure that you have liked, subscribed, and hit that notification so you don't miss any videos like these in the future. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Please let me know what you've thought about it in the comments section. Have you enjoyed this video? Would you like me to do more content like this? Please let me know. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.